Okay, so here's a very interesting thing in Swahili language. And that is when you see a word ending with NGU, which is spelled ngu in Swahili, this 9 times out of 10, it shows possession. So for example, if I use a person, for example, or people, my people, in Swahili, say mtu, which is a person, wangu, mtu wangu, my people, like in singular form. Now we know that mtu is singular, its plural is watu, watu. So for more than one, you say watu wangu, wangu. So here, wangu, this word, wangu, is like mine. It shows possession. However, because of Swahili classes, when you turn this into an object, for example, let's take an example like nguo, which is a cloth, is nguo. You can say nguo wangu, but you say nguo yangu, nguo yangu, nguo yangu, which means my cloth for a singular form. If it's in plural form, you say nguo zangu, nguo zangu, nguo zangu. Now you can see here the only difference is the prefix ya, zangu, zangu. So there are so many examples like that. So for example, a book, which in Swahili is kitabu, also has its own form, like kitabu changu. You cannot say kitabu zangu or kitabu wangu. No, that's wrong. You say kitabu changu, kitabu changu. So there are several forms here. I'll mention a few. We've already seen for a person, mtu wangu, so we have wangu. If it's plural, my people, is watu wangu, watu wangu. Now, for example, if I have to say a tree is mine, it becomes mti wangu for a singular form, mti wangu. For a plural form, it becomes miti yangu, miti yangu, miti yangu. The other form is langu, langu. If I want to say, for example, jicho, jicho, which means eye, an eye, is jicho langu, jicho langu. But if it's two eyes, then jicho becomes macho, so macho yangu. From langu, it becomes yangu, macho yangu, macho yangu. Then another form is changu, changu, changu. So for example here, a knife, for example, a knife in Swahili is kisu, 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 kisu changu, kisu changu, kisu changu. And the plural of it is visu vyangu, visu vyangu, visu vyangu. Not all Swahili words which ends with ngu shows possession. So for example, a word chungu, chungu, chungu. Chungu has two meanings. One is bitter and the other is pot. This does not mean possession. That's why at the beginning I said 9 times out of 10. So you can deduct it from the context. For example, if somebody says hiki ni chungu, it just means this is a pot. And if you say hii ni chungu, it just means this is bitter. So it's easier to detect from the context what the speaker means. But the only thing that you need to know is if you master these words with which describes mine in Swahili, then you can know which one is a possession, which one is not. Now, the most important thing to notice here is that the reason why there are so many versions of mine in Swahili is because of noun and possession agreement. So you can't say mtu changu. That's wrong. It should be mtu wangu. And also you cannot say kisu yangu. It should be kisu changu. Now, if you want to see why, you can go back to these noun classes. There are 9 main classes in Swahili, and each noun class have 2 of them. So in total there are 18 forms of nouns in Swahili, which are put into noun classes. I've discussed this in previous classes, so if you're interested, you can check them out. They might be a little bit harder to master at first, but when you get the flow of it, it's really, really easy. Alright, so that's it. That's what I wanted to discuss with you today. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Bye-bye.